Erol Morkoc. He's a spokesman for Republicans Overseas UK. Very good morning to you, Erol.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Doesn't sound like, from what Hillary Clinton has had to say, certainly, since her hearing yesterday, that there was much to learn from Hillary Clinton. As she kept pointing out, I've never met Jeffrey Epstein, not been to his island, not been to his home, not quite sure what information I can give you, but we should get more out of today's evidence with Bill. Is that right?
I think we should get more out of Bill, and I guess in Miss Clinton's defense, she was probably not Jeffrey Epstein's target audience on either side of the aisle. And that's just, I mean, it not an offensive thing. I'm not trying to be rude, but there's that element. And then the second factor of it, she did mention that she only knew Ghislaine Maxwell because she attended her daughter's wedding.
Yeah.
And it was a +1. And I was like, okay, it's a +1. I understand that. I mean, maybe that's tangential. Probably, though, Bill Clinton didn't really advertise his behaviors strongly to her, especially after his behavior in the White House. So I can give Miss Clinton a pass here and say perhaps she really was kept out of the loop.
Yeah, indeed. Bill Clinton definitely not out of the loop. Now, he said there's been no wrongdoing. He flew on Jeffrey Epstein's private jet. Sounds to me, I'm like the only person who didn't go on his jet. But that was for his charitable foundation work and the like. But there's no doubt at all there's been lots of allegations against Bill Clinton over the years. Some rather obviously proven. As you mentioned, you touched on Monica Lewinsky. Lots of other allegations over the years, and there's a lot of feeling that he does have questions to answer. But then the claim from the Clintons is that they're being questioned, but so also should Donald Trump, who's claimed he's been exonerated by these Epstein files and the publication. But we know they haven't been published in full. There's been an awful lot that has not been released, and particularly some particular pages in relation to one of the young women who claims that as an underage girl, she was trafficked to Donald Trump.
I certainly think that there's a fair argument to argue that subpoenas need to be put for Republicans and Democrats. If this is just simply bringing Democrats up in front of this tribunal, I think it isn't appropriate because there are Republicans in that document, and they should be held to task the same as Mr. Clinton is going to be. In the case of President Trump, though, he never went to the island, and I think that's a huge differentiator. I mean, Bill Clinton went not just once, not just twice, but multiple times. And in addition to that, the argument that they're there for raising money. I mean, it's a little bit better of an argument than Bill Gates, who's worth $60 billion, trying to raise money from Jeffrey Epstein. It's like me trying to raise money from the smoothie shop guy. It's ridiculous. Bill Clinton, maybe there was some argument for one or two emissions. Okay, you go over there, you kind of say, hey, this isn't what I'm looking for, or this kind of a weird thing. But you're going tens and tens of times, and you're obviously somebody who has a proclivity for certain bad behaviors. So I think he really needs to answer the questions in a much more direct way than President Trump, who's exonerated in almost any capacity regarding the island. Now, after he's president in a Democrat Congress, could they subpoena him and bring him out there? Probably, but as a sitting president, it's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen as a sitting president. We know that. A lot of people are asking here in the UK, why is it, the congressional hearings are happening and the congressional members of this committee are saying, look, this is stuff, the FBI and should have been looking at, the Justice Department should have been looking into, and they're asking the questions that haven't been answered, or asked at all. But we've got a situation where we have the Epstein files involving huge number of American, very powerful men, very rich, very powerful men, politicians alike, being implicated. Again, being mentioned in those files doesn't in any way imply any guilt, and we do need to stress that. But we've had a British woman, Ghislaine Maxwell, go behind bars, quite rightly, as his accomplice. We've also got two men, of the former Prince Andrew and the former British ambassador to the United States, former Business Secretary Peter Mandelson, both of whom have been arrested. No charges brought as yet, both declared no wrongdoing at all. But they've been arrested by the police here. We haven't seen any arrests in America. Why not?
And I think the main reason, and I've been talking to people about that, because they're saying, hey, why are we getting Prince Andrew? Why can't we get the guys here? And it comes down to, I think, the fact that the sharing of public secrets or state documents or whatnot is what seems to be bringing down the British politicians. In the U.S., a lot of these people are protected by the fact that they've already been investigated. A lot of people in these Epstein files have been investigated, and there's been a lot of back end deals and this and a lot of suspicious behaviors. And I'm certainly with anybody who says that this should be the FBI conducting these investigations, there should be more pressure. I do believe, though, that the differentiator is that it was the prime minister emailed Mandelson. Mandelson forwards that email 30 minutes later, and now you sort of break the custody of chain of custody. I think you need to start hitting people on technicalities in the U.S. if you want to have the same result as we're having in the U.K.
Very interesting. Erol Morkoc, thank you so much for joining, spokesman for Republicans Overseas UK. Henry Hill's political